Today we are going to continue with our unit on reverse engineering and disassembly. Today we are doing 2.2.4. It's structural analysis and product disassembly. So the past few activities we have looked at the definition of what reverse engineering is, this big topic we're looking into. We did a visual analysis, which again was very different than what we're used to. Looking at kind of the aesthetics and the artistic parts of design that goes into a product. And then last class we did a functional analysis where we looked at an object, a coffee maker, and we looked at all the components and kind of how they work and how they function to take inputs, process them, and make an output to have the product do something. Today we're going to go a step further and do a structural analysis. This is where we're going to fully disassemble a component, an assembly, to look at all the different parts and how they all work. We're also going to do figure out this black box. We don't really know how it works. This is a step where we really figure out all the parts and how it actually is working and coming together. We're looking at the parts and the materials used, how they're formed and combined, and how they interact to function as an assembly. So today, again, all of this is going to be on my PLTW, so I'd recommend logging in, getting to 2.2.4. I'm going to kind of summarize the instructions for you. We've done the visual and functional analysis. We're going to go a step further, and we're going to actually do a full disassembly. We're going to tear down the coffee maker. Now, we aren't going to do this in class. There is a full detailed video of this process happening that we're going to watch. It's on this page, so you're going to be using that. We're going to watch this disassembly. However, this process can get complicated and messy, and so documentation is very important. That's what we're going to do today, is document this disassembly. We're going to use a product disassembly chart. Now, that I've provided for you. If you go to Classroom 2.2.4, you guys are going to be in groups of 3 to complete this project. There's a lot of detail that is going to be needed for this design or this assembly, the assembly disrepair. You're going to work together to complete this. If you open this, you'll each create a file. Really, your group only needs one. You are going to collaboratively complete this project together. It's going to take a while, so work together. Really only one person needs to make this document. You're going to open this up. Now, the product name, you already know this. We already saw it in 2.2.3. It's the Brentwood TS112R single cup coffee maker. You need to record that that is your product. You need to record the date and the time today. You also need to list your group members. If no one puts their name on this, I can really only give credit to who submitted it. If only one person's name is on here, I can only give credit to that person. You need to tell me which 3 people were made up your group. Then you'll see this is a table. There's 10 parts that I'm asking you to select. Now, the full disassembly, there's actually 25 parts. So again, on Classroom, I tell you there's 25. You need to pick 10 of them, and you will be completing this chart for all 10. You're going to have to give the name. Again, that is listed in the video. How many of them are there in this assembly? Dimensions, what does it do? What's it made out of, right? So again, on Classroom, if we're following along, this is the main idea we're thinking about. How do the parts interact with each other? What are good features? Is it successful or does it fail? What materials are used? How are they made? What's the cost? Just big ideas to be thinking about. Now, you'll have a copy of this already. All these are pretty self-explanatory titles. A lot of these you are going to have to, maybe you won't know, you won't be able to mass it out, but you can give your best estimate. You need to have a reasonable estimate for, if you know, a plastic component. If you tell me it weighs 5 pounds, that's not reasonable. So some of them, you're going to have to use your best guess. Here is a full list and summary of all the parts that are going to appear in our product disassembly when we watch this video. Again, you're going to pick 10 of them in your group of 3 to record and fill out this product disassembly chart to document these. Again, here is the video. So you're going to need to watch this video with your group. You'll probably have to watch it multiple times. They will explain and annotate what they're doing, measurements, names of parts, how they're working. They're going to explain what they're doing, right? So this is a video you're going to use to pick 10 of the parts that they list and fill in this table, documenting all these aspects of the part based on the video. Not everything will be able to be included or filled in from the video. So again, like the mass, if it doesn't list it, you would have to give your best estimate, your reasonable guess. That's really all you're doing. But again, I want you to point out that this will take some time to focus on a part and get all this information from the video. After you work together, you're in a group of 3, take advantage of the fact you're going to have an updated hypothesis of how the coffee maker functions. This is actually going to be explanation. We don't have a hypothesis anymore. We've actually torn it all apart and seen all the inner pieces. We know what parts go in there. The video will help explain a lot of them. You need to tell me how they're all working together. This should be pretty detailed, right? You have part names now. You know what to call this part, this part. You know the names of them. You need to use those names and terminology to explain how do these parts make coffee? How does it heat the water? What does it use? Where does the heated water go? All right. So that is going to be, again, kind of your connection from last class where we didn't really know, we took a guess. Now we know all the inner workings, so we need to write an explanation of how those parts work together. So again, this assignment, it's all on Classroom. Only one person in your group needs to submit it, but all of your names need to be on that submission for you to get credit. This is going to be due, it should be done by the end of class. You're working a group of 3, you should get this done. Again, if you don't, you can still turn it in late and it's still going to get full points. So please don't forget that late work policy. And again, you will need to confirm with the sub. If you would like to use your phones if you're finished or work on other homework, you need to talk with the sub. Show them that you've actually completed this chart and submitted it. And follow their instructions. If they say that everyone needs to be working on no phones, you need to obey that. If they see that you've submitted it and they give your group permission to get your phones out and relax, by all means, but you need to be listening to the sub. So that's really all I have to summarize what we're doing today. Again, everything should be very self-explanatory. There's a lot of info on the project Lead the Way. When you get to materials, you might have to use this resource listed at the top. It has all sorts of materials and different properties that I want you to be looking up, right? Density. Well, in the video, they name almost all the materials. You can come and just look, find that material, right? Key trick, use Command F and search for keywords to find them faster. And you can get more information on the materials. That will be a good resource for you to use. Otherwise, again, everything's on Classroom. Work in a group of 3. This needs to be done by the end of the day and submitted to Classroom with all 3 of your names. Again, 10 parts you're selecting. For you virtual students, you are working individually. So I'm having you do the same activity. I need to update this. I'm going to change this to be 5. Since you are going to be doing this independently. So I will update that. Again, if there's any major questions, please email me, and I'll try to respond as quickly as I can. Thanks, guys.